I'm gonna have to figure out how to arrange all my windows here. Let's see. Discord. Probably give someone a heads up here. I also spilled my coffee earlier this morning, which really sucked. I'm not letting this guy into our Discord. What am I? Oh yeah, I'm trying to post in my Discord to tell people I'm live. We need some music. There's no music. We need music. Lo-figenerator.com. This guy never ever emailed me back. I sent an email to this guy. His name's Dylan Turner, who built this website. Because I just wanted him to know, hey man, I really appreciate what you built. But I've never heard back from him. Turn the music up a little bit. If the music's too loud for you, let me know. But since no one's here at the moment, I don't think it matters too much. I just rejected my first Discord application. It was a good idea to put an application in front of the Discord invite. A good idea indeed. How are y'all doing today? Good? Actually, today's a pretty exciting day because we're going to the orthopedic surgeon for my wife's toe. If you don't know, my wife broke her toe about 2-3 weeks ago. Just random, like, sidewalk fall. But we go today to get a checkup to see if she needs any further treatment. So I'm hoping, and I know she's hoping too, that we get good news on that front. What happened to the music? There we go. It's back. Yeah, so hoping for good news, you know. He said it was a very, very small chance, but yeah, hoping she doesn't need to get her foot cut open and have pins put in there because that would really suck. I'm actually I'm actually getting to write some code right now for work that's work related stuff, which is kind of nice. My job's probably like 50, nah, it's probably like 60-40 manual versus automation. So most of the code I write for work is primarily just around automating tests. Uh, Also, is my chat working? Hold on. My chat might not be working. There we go. But I'm actually working on like a small POC for a deal. And it's been fun because I've been using Hano.js. If any of you guys have heard of Hano.js, it's pretty cool. Like almost all the JavaScript and TypeScript related APIs I've written have been using Express. And not that there's anything wrong with Express, but one of the biggest pain points of Express is like it's not really, it doesn't play super nice with async await. You have to do some weird stuff. There's even third-party libraries you can install. But Hano.js seems to kind of, I mean, Hano.js supports async await out of the box without any extra fuss. They also have a really nice integration for validation with Zod, which Zod has kind of taken over the ecosystem. Yeah, Programming 12 official. I'm hiding from the channel, man. I'm really I'm you push me beyond my tolerance limit, man. So go find somebody else's stream to hang out in. I'm pretty chill when it comes to my chat, but man, people who are just outright trolls, I've got no interest. It's not like I'm judging. Like if you want to hang out people's streams and just troll them, you can do that. Like that's totally a valid way to live your life. It's just it's my stream, and so I also have the ability to be like, nah, I don't want to do that right now. You know? Like YouTube's a big place. There's lots of places. There's lots of people streaming. There's lots of live streams, and so I have no issue with kicking people. How are y'all doing today? Everyone doing good? Everyone having themselves a nice, a nice Tuesday? The weather here is great. 66 degrees. It's not terribly windy. Although that is the one thing since we moved to Kansas 4 years ago. It's definitely more windy in Kansas. I don't know why. It actually might just be where we live. Where we live like right on the edge of this big open field, and there's not a ton of windbreak there, so that might be why we feel it more than other people. Oh, but what I was saying about Hano.js, they have this really nice integration with Zod to do validation. They also have a really nice middleware system. I mean, obviously, you can't really have effective APIs unless you have some type of pipeline type of architecture. Zod really has taken over the ecosystem, the JS ecosystem too, as a validator, right? Everybody uses it. Like even the model context protocol that Anthropic um, developed, their TypeScript SDK has like first class support for Zod. Um, yeah, so it's kind of interesting to see like one library. Actually, there's a now a standard. Has anyone seen this? There's a what is it? It's a standard now that people are building against, and it involves um what's it called? It's like one schema, or let's see, Zod schema standard. It's like three companies that have come together. Yeah, it's called Standard Schema. Here's the GitHub link. You guys should see this. It's kind of an interesting idea for the TypeScript ecosystem. I'm gonna put it in the chat. But it's basically a standard validation schema, or it's the description of it is a common interface for TypeScript validation libraries. And I'm pretty sure there's like three companies behind it. There's Zod. There's like two or three companies that have gotten behind it, which is kind of interesting. Hey, Steve, what's up, man? How you doing? How's your day been? I realize you're already at the end of your day, so was it productive? Did you get a lot done? Skrlacrodist, how are you doing? How are you, man? Doing good? Having yourself a good day? What should... Hold on. Sorry, man, I can't see your question all the way. What should I learn, C or Java? I already know JavaScript. Brawly, I think the best thing to do there is to decide what you want to do for work. Yeah, well, I guess I should say, Brawly, are you just learning to code because you like to code, or are you trying to actually be like employable? Because if you're just learning to code just for fun, like me, like you just really enjoy programming and coding, um, like primarily. I guess mine's not. That's not really the only reason. But if that's your primary reason, then I do what you're interested in. If your primary reason is to be employable and to have um, a skill that you can get a job with, my advice would be to figure out what type of software engineering you want to do, and then I would also look around like your geographic location at job offers, or if you're trying to work remote, look at the companies that you want to work for and see what their tech stacks are and make a decision based on that. Because like C is not going to be applicable right? To like if you're going to work at be a web developer. I mean, there's just not a lot of people that are web developers working in C every day. But Java might be, right? Java might be. There's a lot of backends for web apps that are built in Java. But if you want to do something like if you want to like one of the big companies in town where I live is Garmin, right? So if you want to go work at Garmin and do like some of their lower level embedded systems, right? They make a lot of hardware stuff, hardware related stuff. So if you wanted to work on teams like that, C might be the better choice, right? So Ragu Rocky, what's up, man? No, Ragu Rock, what's up, man? How are you? Appreciate you stopping by. Steve1E, it's 5 p.m. Not really into the day. Well, you know what I mean. I mean, basically, awesome so far. Had a great push day. Nice, got your lift in. Yeah, my day is kind of weird. We've got a doctor's appointment for my wife, so I probably won't stream again till like we get back home. So I won't be live at 2 like I was aiming for today. I'll be live sometime after that, maybe 4 o'clock or something like that. It'll be towards the end of the day, end of the work day. But yeah, I haven't got my lift in yet, so I've got to get that done too. Skrulacridus, it's a rainy day today, so yeah, kind of sleepy, just chilling. What about you? Oh man, we're the opposite. We have like super sunny, it's 67 degrees right now. It's supposed to have a high of 76, I think. So we're the opposite of you. I felt like a lizard the whole week because every time I've woke up and saw that it's like above 50 or 60 degrees, the first thing I do is get my coffee, go outside, and just stand in the sun. It just feels so good. Jask Irat, hello, bro. Love from India. Hey, what's up? That's awesome, man. We've had several people from India that have visited the chat. So it's awesome. It's awesome that you're here, man. Hope you're doing well. Steve1E says you can't, Brawly, super, you can't compare those two. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. They're very different, right? Like where you would apply C or where you would apply Java most commonly. Now, I'm not going to say you can't do a lot of the same things if you really wanted to, but they're just, it seems like those are not used in a lot of the same areas, which is kind of my point about like figuring out what type of work you want to do to figure out where you want to go next. Because if you already know JavaScript, like your base is kind of set, right? So just depends on what you want to build, where you want to work. What's up, bro? Nothing, man. If you're new to the channel, I primarily stream a couple times a day for about an hour. Usually one stream is just like this, where I'm just kind of chatting with you guys while I work. And then like I'll chat with you while I work. I'll chat with you while I work out in the gym. And then another stream is usually me actually doing like coding, programming related stuff. I like to post funny shorts that are programming, coding related. And then occasionally I'll make a YouTube video that's about something I've learned or a technology I've worked with recently. So if that sounds like something you'd fuck with, welcome to the channel, man. Steve1E said, gotta get that vitamin D. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's so true, man. I felt like a lizard, just like, oh, the sun's finally here. It's warm again. Let me go lay on this rock in the sun. Skrulacridus, what kind of painting is that behind you? It looks nice. This is it's not like fancy or anything. We got it at a TJ Maxx, my wife said, but we've had it for, which I don't know. Why did I do that? I don't know. Like, I just need to point. We got it at TJ Maxx. I don't think it was very expensive. It's an Albert Einstein painting. I don't know if I can. There. Well, I don't know if that's helping. I'm disappearing and the painting's being revealed. Yeah, it's a painting of Albert Einstein. I'm kind of an Albert Einstein fanboy, so which I get it. There were things that were not great about Albert Einstein. There were things that were wonderful about him. He's a human. That's how we all are. But the number one thing I admire about Albert Einstein is his hustle, right? Most people don't realize that the 4 papers that he wrote that made the biggest contributions that really kind of set him up for success in his field, he wrote while he was not a professor. He was not employed to be a physicist. He was a patent clerk, and he was just doing it in his free time, right? Kind of like I do with coding and programming in my free time. He was just hustling, in his free time, and trying to be so good they couldn't ignore him. And his wife helped him a lot in those early years too. Actually, if you read there's a Walter Isaacson biography about him that's very good. Talks about his wife actually she didn't get credit on the papers, but she was a very capable scientist as well, mathematician. She didn't get a lot of credit for the contribution she made to his work, and that's one of the things that I didn't like about his story, was the way he treated his first wife and their daughter. It was kind of fucked up. But yeah, that's the story behind the painting. Brian Bites Facts. Hey there, what's up, Brian? No, not Brian. Brain Bites Facts. Hey there, what's up, Brain Bites Facts? Scalacodus. Oh, yeah, that's cool. Cool pick. Yeah, it is. It's a cool pick. Yeah, so we got this one. This is one of my favorite ones that we have. Our house is kind of decorated really eclectic because, like, we've been living together since we were broke, essentially. And some might argue we're still broke, but like we don't have the kind of money where we have like a manicure decorated place. So it's all just stuff we've acquired over the years, that we thought either was cool or it like spoke to our interests. So I've got a sign that says bacon in the elements. So barium, cobalt, and nickel. It says bacon. And then the other poster that we have that I like a lot is there's a Jon Snow poster from Game of Thrones that we have up that says Valar Morghulis, which is something they say, what's the name of that assassin? The Faceless Men. They say, all men must die. And it sounds morbid, but it's kind of along the lines of like Memento Mori in the Stoic ideals of like you should be aware of your mortality and act accordingly. That's just cool. Yeah. I got that sign for Christmas one year. I think that bacon periodic table sign, I got that for when I was going to school for biochemistry. Somebody got that for us. I think maybe my mom. Can't remember. Do you like horror movies? No, man. I do not like anything scary. That's not for me. I have some guys I work with who love to play scary video games. Like, what's the last one I played with them? Lethal Company? Have you guys heard of that? Lethal Company? It's a Steam game. And I will only play scary stuff with them just because I like them and I want to play video games with them. But yeah, I won't opt into that on my own. My wife doesn't like scary stuff either, so that works out real well for us. When we met, we were like, "You don't like scary movies? I don't like scary movies. Okay, bet. We'll be together forever now." We never have to go see a scary movie again. What about you, Scalacodus? Do you like scary movies? I know a lot of people love it. I just don't like the feeling of being scared. Although this might sound weird though, like one of my favorite movies is World War Z with Brad Pitt. Stewie, I have it. I would argue that it's not scary at all after first hour of gameplay. I don't know. It's the anticipation of being eaten by the monsters. I don't like it. Scalacodus, I don't know, horror games are funny when you play with friends. I don't know why. Yeah, a lot of, like I said, the guys I work with, that one in particular, he really gets a kick out of it. We also played, the other game we played was, it was a zombie game called Survive the Night, I think is what it was called, which was actually pretty fun. But then when like the mob of zombies chases you down, that's not fun. Not fun at all. You watch everything besides... Oh, man, you don't watch romance? Come on, man. You gotta do some of the romance, right? Another one of my favorite movies is P.S. I Love You with Gerard Butler and Hilary Swank. It's good. You should try Project Zomboid. That sounds familiar, Stewie. I think we played that. I feel like you would love it. Project Zomboid. I think I played this actually, Stewie. Trying to look at the map. Yeah, I've definitely played this. And like, isn't there a mechanism in the game where you can only sprint so much? I remember playing this with those guys from work, and I was like sprinting everywhere. And then whenever I needed to sprint, all my sprint was gone, and then I would get eaten. And I don't think I. The thing is, like, I do enjoy playing with friends because it is fun. Like to what Skalaquid has said about how it's kind of funny, because like you're screaming and having a good time. But I would never sign up for it on my own. Some romance movies are okay, but most of them would make me sad, laugh my ass off. Yeah, definitely the sad parts aren't that great. There's a movie on Amazon Prime that's kind of romantic in a sense. What's it called? And it makes me really sad every time I watch it, but it's really good. I think it's called Modern Love. Is it Modern Love? No, it's something else. It's Modern Love's a funny one, isn't it? That's like an anthology series. Who does this have in it? This Prime Video, this movie has God, it's gonna kill me if I can't think of God, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a particular movie where it follows like this multi-generational love story, and like it involves people passing away and kids being born, and yeah, it just always. So I totally understand what you're saying about it making you sad. Stewie, but you have traits. You can work out in game and gain fitness, so you can run for longer. Well, see that I didn't play it enough to get that far. That would have really helped. That would have saved me from being eaten a couple times. For all kinds of stuff, stats. Yeah, that's cool. That is a really cool aspect. That's one of my favorite part of a lot of the RPGs, right? Like that's one of my favorite parts of the Elder Scrolls games, you know, being able to level up your traits and skills. I haven't played many video games lately. I really need to make some time to play in the evenings. Do it on stream. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta sort out my my capture card situation. I said I was needing to find some time to play video games, and my son said you should do it on video. I'm definitely gonna play some Call of Duty when Verdansk comes out. I think it comes out at the beginning of April. Excuse me. Okay. So I'm actually making pretty good progress with this Hano.js thing. It's funny people knock JavaScript and TypeScript so much. I do understand that it has quirks, and I get it. Some people don't look at it as a grown-up language, but man, I don't know, it's enjoyable to write TypeScript. I really do think it's an enjoyable experience. It's much better than Python, I can tell you that. After last night, I was working on that building a large language model book, and I'm making good progress. We're in the middle of learning how to write a self-attention mechanism. But right now, I'm doing it all in Python and just, yeah. No, thank you. Which I probably shouldn't say, because if AI really does become more and more a predominant aspect of programming and coding, I probably need to make peace with Python, because although it seems like more and more AI related things, machine learning things, libraries, I guess might be a better term, have a port to TypeScript. They have a TypeScript SDK, you know. Can't say the same for C#. I guess there is a PySharp. I think there's a PyTorch implementation in C#, but C# does not get a lot of love in the AI space. That's for sure. Y'all, do any of you guys follow there was somebody in my chat a couple streams ago that was asking about building mobile apps. Do any of you guys watch or follow WebDev Cody? He's a creator on YouTube. Here, I'm gonna post his link in the chat if you're interested in following him, because I think his content's great. I actually probably owe him like several cups of coffee, because I've learned quite a bit from watching his content over the years. Can type too much eating lunch right now. Don't worry about it, Sione. I appreciate you. Anywho, but yeah, if you watch WebDev Cody, he actually just posted a new video, and I'll link to that too.
Press on these buttons.
That basically goes over like the easiest way to build mobile apps is a web dev. And I watched it last night. It was great. And he talks about basically, you know, if you know React, you know, you can basically get started writing it's a pretty long video, so beware. Yeah, what Matt said. Exactly what Matt said. Here's the video. It's long. It's 3 hours. But I was laying in bed last night, and I was just kind of, you know, watching. I wasn't following along. But I was like, okay, I feel like I could do some mobile development if I wanted to do it. He showed a service, basically, because the other day when somebody asked me about building for mobile, I said that it seemed really difficult to distribute the app, which was the part that I like about web development, where there's really no gatekeeper, right? If you want to like build something, and like as long as you have a server, or you can use one of these free, you know, managed services, you can get your app out and exposed to the public. But when you do a mobile app, obviously you have to go through like the iOS App Store or the Google Play Store. But he showed a service called expo.dev that seems like it solves that headache. So I'm excited to try that at some point. But like the whole code aspect of it seemed pretty straightforward, because he was using React, basically React Native, I think is what he was using, if I remember right. And so it was like basically you're building screens like you would for a, you know, for you're building mobile app screens, but you're doing it all right in code that looks familiar. Java 24 launch live event right now, by the way. Oh, interesting. Scalacridis, gotta go study. Have a nice day. You too, man. Good luck studying. Stewani, I would probably be more excited if I knew some Java. You know, I pay more attention to the .NET, what's going on in the .NET world on live events and announcements like that. Java 24. Yeah, March 18th. Yep, that's today. Okay, cool. Well, that's exciting for you Java devs. C# usually releases in November. Well, I shouldn't say C#, but .NET. It seems like their releases are kind of in the fall, I think is their cadence. Actually, I watched a video about Java, about the Java ecosystem. Apparently, there's a big project that's underway, right? That I don't remember the name of the project, but apparently there's a lot of work being done to like I don't know, make it a better dev experience or something. I don't really understand the whole thing. Do you use Tailwind and Native Wind for mobile dev? Tailwind CSS for your web app? I don't use. So I have used Tailwind. So I have a couple projects out there that you can go look at where I've used Tailwind. I've never used Native Wind because I haven't done anything for mobile development ever. Which is why I was so excited. It's funny because I was on the other day. I was complaining about. I was complaining about that to someone in my chat that was asking about it. Like, I don't do no mobile dev because XYZ is difficult. And then like the next day, Web Dev Cody posted that video, and I was like, oh, okay, that problem is solved. I'll just use Expo. But no, I don't. So I typically just write CSS natively, Matt. That might seem very like out of touch of me, but yeah, I'm not. I know how to use Tailwind. I also, before Tailwind, I used Bootstrap, which kind of has a similar idea about CSS, basically utility first framework for CSS. And I think that's great, but I personally just like the idea of like, if you're writing a front end that has components in it, I like the idea of being able to have all my styles, all my functionality, all my markup in that component, and I just write native CSS, and it's all scoped, and that's good enough for most of what I'm doing. I could see Tailwind being really good if you're on like a big project with multiple devs, which is just not my world. But if you were on a project with like 4 or 5 devs, I could totally see Bootstrap or Tailwind being very helpful, because you inevitably, if you're not using something like that, you're inevitably going to end up with a lot of duplicity in your CSS. Sogo Hotel, I'd avoid Tailwind if you work in an office. Oh, really, Sogo? That's interesting. I would have thought that would be where Tailwind really shined, right? Like on a big team project. Because inevitably people end up duplicating, like they apply the same styles but under different class names. But that's just that to me, that would think that would be like a huge benefit of using a framework like that. Pickles, put your hand up if you think Steven is incredibly handsome. Well, hey Pickles, I appreciate you being here. Sogo, it'd smell bad. What do you mean, Sogo? Oh, you're making a joke. That one went woo, right over my head. Julius Novachrono, peak content. I've never seen your channel. Damn. Hey Julius. Well, I think peak content. Like, you'll have to forgive me. I'm 31, so I'm a little bit of I'm one of those like middle-aged millennials now. So I think what you're saying is the content's good. And so I appreciate that, man. Thanks for stopping in, saying hi. Appreciate you. Sogo, yeah, Sogo. Sorry, man. Now I get what you mean. Yeah, I would agree. Don't try it in the office. And depending on where, if you're working remotely or working from home, depending on who's at home with you, be thoughtful there as well. Julia says peak means really, really good. Yeah, I figured that's the case, but yeah, I'm like I said, I'm a 31-year-old dad with two kiddos. My oldest is in 3rd grade, so I'm starting to hear a lot of the kid lingo more and more. And I want to stay up on it. Like, I don't want to be one of those old men that are like, kids today, I don't want to be like that. I think it's kind of lame. Sogo, what resources did you use when you first started learning? Sogo, when I first started learning how to code, the very first thing I ever took learning how to code was It was a Coursera course, but it was from Duke University, and it went over like JavaScript, CSS, HTML. That was like the first like real coding programming tutorial course that I followed. That was web dev related. I did take programming 1 and programming 2 in college, and that was all C#. Like we learned, obviously we learned like hexadecimal and binary and whatnot, but all the exercises and stuff were in C#. But then the real resource that really kind of put me over the top was Free Code Camp. So I will always speak very highly and put Free Code Camp on blast in a good way, not in a bad way, in a good way, because yeah, I mean, they really were the one that kind of very structured curriculum is really what helped me get over that initial learning curve. Would you recommend? I wouldn't now, Sogo, but that was like in 2018, and I was just like, I had no idea where to start. I probably ended up there from like a Google search. I think today I would recommend Free Code Camp is where I'd point everybody to start, freecodecamp.org. Other than that, then I would probably point people at something like Pluralsight. If you're willing to pay, right? If you're willing to do something that's paid, I'd probably do like a Pluralsight subscription. If you're really interested in like C# related content, .NET related content, I would send you over to domtrain.com, which is Nick Chapas's education site. I think they're making the highest quality C#, most up to date, most modern, like relevant .NET developer education material out there. So that's where I would send people. Maddox. Oh, hey, Maddox. Sorry, I think you made a comment earlier and I missed it. Hope you're doing well, man. Yeah, Coursera may have been on YouTube, something at the time. But yeah, it was that was back in 2018. I was still working as a food scientist. Yeah. As a 21-year-old, what advice would you give for jobs in life? Okay, so Julius, I will give you this advice as if 31-year-old me could travel 10 years in the past and talk to 21-year-old me. So let's see, at 21, I would have been like a sophomore or junior in college. I would have been working as a personal training during the day, and I would have been working as a medical scribe in the emergency department in the evenings and on weekends. Let's see, I would have at that time still thought I was going to medical school. Yeah, at 21, I guess what I would go back and say to myself is, I don't know. It's a little too late at that point. The one thing I wish I could go back and tell myself is I would want to go back and tell myself not to go to college, to not take out student loans. Don't go into debt to get your education. Don't mortgage 4 years of your life for the next 10 or 12 of it. But at 21, I guess what I would tell myself is, you've got time. Like, don't be in a rush. You have plenty of time. Life is a marathon. Nothing you do in the next week, month, even 6 months, maybe even a year is going to significantly alter the course of your life, probably. So, have fun. Don't take things too seriously. Spend time with the people you love. Spend time doing the things you love. That's probably the advice I would give, because at that age I was in a hurry, man. I was in a hurry to get done with school, get on to the next thing, figure out the next step. It was all about the next thing. It was very, very little consideration for the moment. Steve, some go win. I don't know, Steve. I'm in the middle of like, I really need to spend some time just hammering at some of these side projects I started and get them to like a finish point. Right? There's 3 right now. There's the Build a Large Language Model book. There is the AltGen server, web app, console app. Excuse me. And then there is this Azure, OnSpring to Azure sync app that I've been working on. And I really need to just push them over the edge where I can get them to a point where it's like, okay, I feel good where they are and I can step away from them again before I like undertake more learning. So I don't know when more go. Either on days where I feel burnt out with those projects, or once I get those projects kind of really pushed over like the finish line. Because I do not like starting projects and not finishing them. So if I start something, I'm going to finish it. It may take me longer than I would like, but I'm going to finish it. I'm not going to move on until I finish them. Fire Spirit, yo, what's up, Fire Spirit? How you doing? Julius, thank you for the advice. Honestly, yeah, Julius, it's hard. I mean, it's hard because advice really depends on someone having good advice. Depends on having a lot of context about who you are as a person and where you are in life and what your goals are. So good advice is hard, but I think general advice like that's pretty good. You know, you've got time. You're gonna have a long life. Don't rush too much. Maddox, bless whoever's. Oh, did you hear that? I think that was one of my boys. Yeah, I guess the other thing, Julius, I guess what I would say is also that, like, the other piece of advice I'd probably give you is, like, this is kind of like meta advice, but, like, be slow to take others' advice, right? Or at least take the advice and put it in your own context, right? Like, what are your goals? Like, one of my favorite authors and strength coaches is a fella named Dan John. If you've never heard of Dan John, you should go to Amazon right now, search Dan John, and then buy every book he's ever written and read it. Because he's a strength coach, but he also has a PhD in theology. So like, I love the incongruency in that, right? You wouldn't think like a big, tough strength coach would also be a theologian. But he's a really good thinker, and he articulates his thoughts very well. But one of the things he always talks about, both in life and in fitness, is like you can't really evaluate what you should do without having a goal. Like without the context of a goal, without having that lens to evaluate something through, it's really difficult to make advice meaningful, right? So yeah, it's kind of like the thing I always think about in that conversation is in Alice in Wonderland, when Alice is like, "Which way should I go?" And then I think is it the rabbit? It's like, I think the rabbit's like, "Well, where are you trying to get to?" And she doesn't know, and he's like, "Well, then it doesn't really matter where you go." And that's life, right? That's career. That's your personal life, your professional life. Like if you have no destination in mind, fuck it, right? But if you do have a destination in mind, then it becomes much easier to sort things out. Fire Spirit, bro, do you know Kundalini? I don't know. I'm not familiar with that word at all. Fill in your detail. It gives your birth chart. It can describe your personality. Oh, it's like astrology. Yeah, nice. Sogo, what do you code for work, by the way? Sogo, I was saying this earlier, actually. My job is probably 60-40 between manual and automated testing at the moment. And that kind of varies based on what's going on work wise. But of the automation, like most of the code I write supports that, right? Supports automated testing. Um, However, I do get the opportunity, because I do know how to code. I do know how to build software. I do get the opportunity a lot for smaller projects around the company where people need somebody with that skill set. So like right now, one of the things I'm working on is like a POC integration for an opportunity. Just basically trying to illustrate how you can integrate between our system and another system, which is kind of fun. So I get to do smaller one-off projects like that are less like test automation related, but most of the code I write at work is relevant to test automation. Steve1E, so what are you up to later? Later today, I'm gonna stream, but I don't know. The timing is going to be highly dependent on how long that doctor's appointment takes. So hopefully, though, my goal is maybe to stream maybe like towards the end of the workday, so 4 or 5 o'clock, something like that, for an hour. And what am I going to work on? I don't know. Yesterday, I had a really clear idea. I think today what I might do is I might work. Like I said, Steve1E, I need to get those side projects pushed across the finish line, so I probably should spend time working on those on stream. And I do have a couple things I need to do on that OnSpring to Azure data syncer app, so maybe I'll do that. Yo, bro, I'm back. Hey, what's up, Jaskirat? Do the volume up, bro. Are you sure it's not loud enough, man? Maybe your volume on your phone. I mean, based on my audio levels in OBS, it looks fine. So maybe turn up your volume on your end. Also, for those of you who may be hanging out here that are relatively new or don't know, when I say office hour in one of these streams, I really do mean like an hour. So I'm coming up on 52 minutes being live, so I'll probably be live for another 10-ish minutes. I just don't want anybody to be caught off guard when I say, hey, I'm leaving. Maddox, your audio is fine for us. Okay, good deal, awesome. Jaskarat, no. Okay, Jaskarat. Well, hey man, live your life, bro. If somehow I can help in any way, just say. I appreciate that, Steve1E. No, I mean I think it's all good. It's all stuff I know I can do, and I don't want to bother you guys with it. It's just like I started for whatever reason at the beginning of the year. I started like 3 different side projects, and then I started making content, right? And so yeah, that has all kind of consumed a lot of that free time, and so I just need to put some dedicated effort towards pushing those 3 projects across the finish line, and then being disciplined about just starting one thing at a time. Start one, push it to the end. Although I kind of like having things to switch between too. You know, when I feel burnt out on one, I can switch to another. But the difficult thing with that, right, is then when you want to do something new, like learn Go, it kind of makes it too difficult to do it. Sogo, where's the Discord invite? Yeah, what Steve1E said. It's in the channel description. So if you wanna talk or chat or hang out of the stream context, yeah, Discord's the best place to go. And the link is in the channel description. Yep, it is indeed. I actually just rejected my first the first Discord app. It was from somebody that's been in my stream and kind of trolling and stuff. So I was like, I sent him a message. I talked to him in a private message, like, hey man, are you gonna be cool, or like, are you gonna still be kind of an asshole? And then he took that moment to be more of a troll. So I said, no, thank you. We don't need you in our Discord. C1E. I definitely want to learn SQLite next. Oh, SQLite's OP. Yeah. I can use it even as Java Web Dev. It'll actually come in useful. Yeah, SQLite's. I mean, what's wonderful about SQLite, right, is it's just a file on disk, right, and it's everywhere. But yeah, agree, man. SQLite's great. And if you know SQL in other contexts, there's not a lot to it. Especially if you're using an ORM, right, from your app to interact with it. But yeah, it's just SQL, right? But it's you store it on disk, and especially for small apps, right? If you're just building something, like single user application. I mean, you could even build a multi-user application and just give every user their own SQLite database. Yeah, I 100% agree. I think that's well worth your time. I mean, there's definitely something to be said about like a proper Postgres instance if you're worried about scale and stuff. But for small, like ST1E, for example, like I think one interesting way you could maybe go about learning SQLite is take your CLI to do app, and instead of persisting the tasks using a CSV, just use a SQLite database. That would be a really small. I don't know like what Go's ORM is, but maybe that's like a really like nice like, hey, let me migrate from, or maybe even like you could add like a flag or something to your console app to persist to a SQLite database instead of a CSV. Could be a cool idea. Bro, what do you think about? Hold on. What do you think about Sila? I've never used that, so I'm sorry. At Electronic Basics, I don't think I can give you C1E transition from MySQL. Yeah, if you know MySQL, you'll be. I mean, if you know SQL at all, SQLite will just be. It'll just be another place to apply your SQL knowledge. Glitch Gamers, hello. What's up? Hello, Glitch Gamers. Nice to see you again, man. You are coming in towards the end of the stream, though. Just a heads up, man. Oh yeah, the web URL shortener would be a good idea, Stu. I mean, any of those Go apps that you built, right, where you need some sort of persistence layer. Yeah, SQLite would be great. And what's nice is then you don't have to worry about the DB, right? You can, and a lot of languages have a way to sort of package up, like in .NET, for example, right? You can just create a SQLite database on the fly when your application bootstraps. So you don't have to, you can just have the database live on the user's machine. It's their data. It's persisted there. Electronic Basics, sorry if you didn't hear me. I don't know that DB technology. I've never used it, so I can't give you any opportunities. Sogo Hotel, what does your job entail, by the way? Was it front-end dev? No, so my job title is quality engineer. So I work in our quality assurance department, and I do manual and automated testing. The web development stuff is all just my own curiosities, my own interests, my own projects. Bro, my PC got virus. What should I do? Destroy it and buy a new one. I don't know, man. I mean, I'd reformat the disk. I mean, even that sometimes isn't enough. It just depends on the virus, right? And what thing got into your system. See, when you like right now, I don't have a check for if URL is already in data.csv. With SQLite, I'll be super easy to check. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think that sounds like a great way to introduce yourself to it. What tool do you use the most in automated testing? So I'm the only one who does anything automated test related at my job. We're a pretty small team. But the technologies I use TypeScript for the language. Playwright.dev is what I use for the browser, automating the browser via TypeScript. We host it. It's open. It's public. It's on my GitHub repo. It's hosted on GitHub, and then we run it using GitHub Actions. So does that mean testing code to make sure it's working correctly? Yeah, in a way it does. So I primarily just write end-to-end UI tests. That's typically like in a classic sense of what a quality, like an automation engineer would do for a company. Um, but there are tests, right, that you can write down at like the code base level, right, where you can write actual unit tests, integration tests. But I'm not involved in any of that. Glitch, thanks, bro. I have to buy a new one. Going to middle class. Yeah, buying new tech sucks, man. I mean, it's exciting, but it sucks to have to go into your wallet. And also, Stewie, that's a really great advice that you offered, Glitz. It's really kind of you, because that's I get so skeeved about a system that has once been infected ever using it again. But yeah, if you really don't want to have to go buy a new one, yeah. Do you end-to-end testing like automated browser interaction? I think it's so robotish and only humans can do this right. Yes, we do end-to-end testing. It is robotish because that's basically what it is, right? It's a computer driving a browser. I will say electronic basics. There are definitely things that I agree with you that, especially the more complex the application, it's difficult to, and that's why manual testing will always be part of. It should always be part of quality assurance in a software company to some extent. There's just some things that humans, exploratory testing, that they excel at, but you can write good automated tests. You definitely can write good end-to-end automated tests. You can write bad ones too. I've done both. But I agree. You probably can't replace everything a manual tester can do. And like I said, I do both. I manual test and do automated tests. So I have, I see both perspectives. I work in both perspectives. A lot of the tooling though for these automated tests. I mean, something like Playwright. I mean, you can do some really crazy stuff. I mean, you can do really, really cool automated end-to-end. You can take snapshots, both visual and snapshots of the actual DOM. You can do diffs of that. You can do comparison of pictures by pixel. I mean, all kinds of crazy stuff. Just out of the box. Things that, 5 or 10 years ago probably would have been quite the headache to implement. Now just work. All right, guys. That's my hour. I wish I could hang out longer, but that's all I got for this morning. Like I said, my normal stream schedule, I've been aiming to do a stream about 2 o'clock during my lunch break, but today's a little bit interesting because we have some appointments and stuff going on this afternoon. But I'm gonna try to stream again towards the end of the day, so like 4 p.m. CST or 5 p.m. CST for another hour. So if you're around then, come hang out. If not, no worries. Totally understand. Y'all have lives and are busy, so I get it. But I appreciate y'all. Stewie, okay, Stewie and Glitch are talking. Okay, yep, that's it for me, guys. All right, have a good rest of your Tuesday, and if I see you later, great. If not, I'll see another video or another stream or another short. So see you then. Bye, y'all.